So I'm responding via video for this because my deck, my BRAT's deck, is it's not like a normal rat deck. What it does is it's not as aggressive. Its job is to acquire keywords so that the like assistant rats can acquire the keywords and then the commander can just throw the snail. So pardon the rabbit. Hi, buddy. This is my commander. It is Wick, the World Mind. So this deck is mostly black and blue. It's got a little red for flavor. My husband calls it Spicy Demir. So this card is basically just a card where the commander is creating a snail and building up the snail with all the other rats that I'm going to be casting. And then eventually I get to throw that snail for damage and then draw according to the snail's power. Also, note my custom card sleeves. They're amazing. So I wanted to get like a bunch of rat colonies, but the rat colonies really expensive. So what I ended up doing is when my husband picked up the Bloomborough deck boxes, like just not the deck boxes, like the draft boxes, he had no interest in playing rats. So I just took out all of the Bloomborough rats, and that's really helped because that also gives us threshold, which is a keyword. And notice this one's got Menache as well. So I don't have anything that can give everybody menace, but I'm gonna pull out the cards that do give like constant keywords. So I believe I have pulled out what I think are some of the standouts of this deck. It's my first custom deck, so it's a little bit weird, especially because I know I'm not playing rats as aggressively as rats normally like to be played. But the way that this works is that Wick is kind of like the general, and then he's got a bunch of different keyword cards that will be assisting him in his snail throwing endeavors. And these are the 5 cards here that give keywords, like constant keywords. We have this one, which is one of my personal favorites because look how fucking shiny it is. This is Caramonix, the Rat King, gives every rat toxic, and it allows me to reveal rat cards and put them into my hand in the event that I needed to grab like more rats. And also I have like a little blinker. I have like a little blinker cantrip. Like I just have one. I need to find more. That way I can blink this in and out. That way I can continue to look at the top 5 cards in my library. Next is Marinar. I feel like there is no, I feel like you can't have a rat deck without having this, but also look how pretty it is. This is the prettiest Marinar card I think I've ever seen. And this card is also kind of a standout, and I've been very lucky that I've drawn it in a lot of my games. So this does end up being the linchpin to victory, or at least being a threat at the table. Now onto the weird shit. This is Wonder because my deck, because of the rats getting threshold, I get to throw things in the graveyard. There's a couple cards that let me mill things into the graveyard, and I'm just expecting to be attacked with all of my rats. So there are times where I can get this in my hand, or I can just mill it into the graveyard, and then suddenly everybody's got flying. Similarly, everybody's got anger. There has to be a black version of one of these cards that gives like fucking death touch or something, but I don't know what that card is, and I have not found it yet. And finally, the funniest one. This is not a rat. This is a human soldier, but he gives everybody horsemanship. And nobody I know right now in my Magic the Gathering play circles is playing cards with horsemanship. So the idea that the rats can be on horses and hasty and flying and have fear and toxic, I haven't had all of these cards in play at once, but I've had these 2 in play, or both of these in play. Hi, bunny! Needless to say, these 6 cards, they've been putting in the work. We've also got some standouts that are they are rats, but some of these aren't rats that I've added to the deck just because I think that they're funny, or that I think could be a fun win condition in the event that I need one. So this is Pack Rat. Weirdly, this is the card out of all of the cards that I've shown you so far that puts the fear of God into my opponents the most, because they're like, oh shit, Pack Rat is out, we got to get rid of it. Meanwhile, Caramonix is out, and like everybody's got toxic, but they're worried about this because of the tokens and all of that, especially if Mariner is on the field. So I get why people are afraid of this, but also I'm like, they're just big rats. They can be blocked without keywords. This was the card that I was told that I should use as a commander because it would be like a lot cleaner as an idea as a straight up rat deck. But I liked the idea of the keywords and throwing in anger and Wick too much. So now he's in the deck. But the interesting thing is that my husband plays a reanimator deck, and this card alone shuts that down. So if you play a lot of reanimators, this is a card to look for. Next, we have Bolas. Nico Bolas. It just happens to be the same colors as Wick, and I thought it would be funny. And I also thought that this card would draw a little bit of aggro. That way, like something like Mariner or Pack Rat or Sun Quan even could stay alive because everyone's so afraid of Bolas. This is a second Planeswalker. I have never actually been able to draw this, so I don't know if it even works. Hopefully it does at some point. But I do like the idea that this adds counters. It allows for card draw. So like this isn't so bad. I just need to actually draw it. And this is another card that I've drawn and I've played, but I've never gotten to use because everyone sees this and they're like, we got to get rid of it, which of course it allows me to control a target player during that player's next turn. And considering that I'm not that great at Magic, I would have the ability to fuck up their strategy without even understanding what it is that I'm doing. I also have, to add to this keyword extravaganza, I have the Whip of Erebos coming. So then these rats will also have lifelink. And I'm also getting something called, I forgot what it's called. It's like, it's the thing that makes all of your creatures, all kinds of creatures. Maskwood Nexus. It's called Maskwood Nexus. That I'm also getting. So then all of the creatures will be rats and snails, and then I can throw the rats and the snails, and Wick can be just throwing everything. And then I'll also be getting lifelink for the rats and the snails and all of that. So like, this is probably like a really weird rat deck, but it's a rat deck, and it's a brat deck. I call these my brats. It even comes in a little green box. Hopefully this helps you with your rat building endeavors.